Everything in my life, Paul, is a process. Actually, as an engineer, actually, you like that. I think so. I do refer quite a lot to The Road Less Traveled as a book, which is one of my favorite books, because it begins with a paragraph that basically says life is difficult, and it's difficult for everybody. And once we realize that life is difficult, it's no longer difficult, and it follows along that same lines. And it is the journey of human beings, and the necessity in life to overcome suffering, because suffering is part of the human condition, and it's a process. It goes, one of life's storms hits you in the face unexpectedly, comes from nowhere. What do you do? And there's a wonderful Murakami quote that I regularly send people about the storms of life, actually, and how incredibly difficult and metaphysical they are. But interestingly, it's like being in a washing machine during that time. You're going upside down. You realize you're entirely outside of control. Nothing can right you again. All you can do is roll with it and come out the other side. And whatever you do, don't go back to what was life before. These are your invitations in life to grow spiritually and as a person, but they're individual journeys that only you can go through the journey. And the other side of it, I find, is so fascinating, of the word courage. And I love the word bravery versus courage, because bravery means I go into battle, I feel no fear. Courage means I'm terrified, but I go into battle anyway. And actually, it is the courage to walk a new, really, really uncertain path. You're 10 miles up in the air on a tightrope with no net, dizzy with vertigo, but actually you've got to keep going, really. And it's that courage to suddenly find new steps. Now, I believe that's macro within humanity right now. It's for humanity, but it's for each individual as a journey as well. We're in a very suffering society right now. You can't, well, sorry, you can fail to be touched by it. But I think that's the macro moment for society and for each human being. But actually, within that journey, it is life's going to be shit at some point. You've got to learn how to overcome, and it's a process. Paul, you'll be delighted to know. It is a process. Enjoy the washing machine. Come out the other side. Realize it's a long way to fall. Don't go backwards, and you'll feel something walking alongside you. Whatever you choose to call it, there will be something walking alongside you. Ta-da!
Oh, that's good.
Andrew, Andrew's process. Well done, Andrew. I'm gonna copyright that. Actually, you can't use it.
Right?
No, it's true. I teach people it all the time, Paul, because everybody hits them at some stage, don't they? Everybody does.
Yeah. Well, it's important. I think it's very important, because in the absence of a crisis, people continue to do the things the way they've always done them.
Right.
And so crisis is a necessary component of the transition we're going through. If it doesn't question the system, if it doesn't force us to revisit fundamental assumptions. I always like to describe economics students, because this happened to me. Imagine you're walking down a road and you walk into the house of economics. You turn off the sidewalk and you go up a set of stairs and you go into the ground floor. And they introduce you to all kinds of wonderful microeconomics, macroeconomic principles, all kinds of interesting fields of study. But nobody invites you into the basement to see the foundations, the underlying assumptions that are everything else is predicated upon. Well, Andrew and I, that's where we go. We go into the basement of accounting and economics and financial reporting and banking and governance. And we just look at where the foundations are fine. Some of them are good, but there's other ones that are rotten to the core, and you have to rebuild them, or the house is going to come down. And so that's the kind of metaphor we use, that because of our over-specialization today, we have brilliant minds that are, this wide, but they're 100 miles deep. And what's required today is to step back and look at the system as a whole, and understand that it is transitioning. Okay, what are the things we need to change in economics? For instance, the definition of capital for an economist is all the mechanical elements in the factory production system. And they think that you mix capital and labor and you get something of value. That's the productive formula in economics, even today. So how do you fit intangible world of Facebook into that? You don't. And so those are foundational assumptions that have to be updated to accommodate the modern world, and could go on. But the point is that the crisis forces us to revisit those fundamental assumptions. And we want to change. We don't want to throw the baby out with bathwater. There's lots of good things in capitalism that can be transitioned. Most of it's buried or hidden or lost from sight. But all of this can be repurposed for a new world order, a new society that values things differently. And that's what Rethinking Capital is really all about.
That's the key to sustainability right there. Using the resources around you, actually recognizing them for what they are, no matter what their label is, but actually digging in, trying to see their value.